Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing all about simplifying fractions. But before that, let's try to review first the terms related to fractions. Okay, the first one is what we call proper fractions. Okay, 1/2 is an example of a proper fraction. When we say proper fraction, the numerator or the number above is lesser compared to the denominator, which is the number below. Again, when we say proper fraction, the number or the numerator is lesser compared to the denominator, which is the number below. So that is a proper fraction. Another example of a proper fraction is 3/4. So this is a proper fraction because the numerator, which is 3, is lesser than compared to the denominator, which is 4. So that is a proper fraction. Now, what do we mean by improper fractions? When we say improper fractions, the numerator is greater, okay? Is greater than the denominator. So meaning to say, when we say improper fraction, the numerator or the number above is greater than the number below, which is the denominator. Okay, another example for that is 5/2 or 5/2. So this is an example of an improper fraction because 5 is greater than 2. Okay, now another way to describe improper fractions, we can say that a fraction is improper if the numerator and the denominator are equal. Again, we can also say that a fraction is improper whenever the numerator and the denominator are equal. So, aside from the numerator is greater than the denominator, and that is improper fraction, we can also say that a fraction is improper when the numerator and the denominator are equal. Okay? The next one is what we called mixed numbers. So when we say mixed numbers, it is a combination, or mixed number, it is a combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. So again, it is a combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. Now let's have to go with the topic. Our topic is we need to find out how to simplify fractions. Now, in simplifying fractions, it is better for us to identify what kind of fraction is given. The fraction here is 4/6 or 4/6. And I believe you would say, Sir or Mr. Brian, the fraction here is a proper because the numerator, which is the number above, is lesser than the number below, which is the denominator. So the fraction here is proper. Okay. Now, how to simplify proper fraction? To simplify proper fraction, meaning to say, we need to find a number that can divide 4 and 6. Now, let's try to think. Of course, 1 is always given. 1 is possible. Okay, how about another number? Okay, 2 is also possible. Okay, are there any more numbers or number? No, there's none already. So the only numbers that can divide 4 and 6 are 1 and 2. But take note, we will use the greater number instead of the lesser one. So since 2 is greater than 1, we will use 2. Okay, so therefore, 4 divided by 2, that is 2. And 6 divided by 2, that is 3. 2/3. This is now the simplified form. Again, we say this is the simplified form. Okay, now you would ask me, Sir or Mr. Brian, why is it that we will not use 1? Simply because if you are going to use 1 here, you will have the same answer. 4 divided by 1, 4. 6 divided by 1, 6. So you did not simplify the fraction. So we will not use 1 in the number, in dividing the numbers. Okay, so again, in simplifying a proper fraction, all you need to do is to find a number that can possibly divide the two numbers, or the numerator and the denominator. Okay, next, how about 10 over 15? Can we find a possible number that can divide both 10 and 15? Okay, 1, yes, possible, but we will not use 1. If the possible number that can divide both the numerator and denominator is 1, therefore, that is simplified already. So this time, the number that can possibly divide 10 and 15 is, okay, that's correct, 5. So we can divide 5 here. Okay, that's good. Now let's try 10 divided by 5, that is 2, or 2. 15 divided by 5, that is 3, of course. So therefore, the simplified form of 10 over 15 is 2 over 3, or 2/3. Okay, that's great. Now let's have another example. Okay, now 16 over 20. So the possible numbers that can possibly divide these two numbers here are 2 and 4. Okay, that's it. But as I said, we need to use the greater number, or the greatest if there are more than 2, the greatest number. Okay, now let's try to divide it by 4. Okay, the answer would be 16 divided by 4 is 4, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So therefore, the simplified form of 16 over 20 is 4 over 5. Now, what if you will ask, what if we will try to use 2? Let's try. Okay, 16 over 20, we will use 2 here. Okay, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Is this simplified? No, this is not simplified yet, because you can still find a number that can possibly divide 8 and 10, and that is 2 also. Okay, so 8 divided by 2, that is 4. 10 divided by 2, that is 5. And you arrive with the same answer. That is why it is very important to choose the greater number for you to do the shortcut in dividing and simplifying the fraction. This is the long process, and this is the shorter one. Okay, now let's try to have another one. What do you think is the possible number that can possibly divide 21 and 35? What number is that? Okay, that's good. The number is 7. Okay, only 7, because 1 we will not include 1. Only 7. Okay, now let's try to move and let's try to divide. 21 divided by 7 is 3, of course. Now, 35 divided by 7 is what? 5. Okay, that's great. So therefore, 3 over 5 is the simplified form of 21 over 35. And that's good. Now, how about this one? Take a look at. Okay, the last examples that I gave here. Okay, let's try to check again. This is proper. This is also proper. Why? Because 10 is lesser than 15, or less than 15. So therefore, this is proper also. This one is also proper. 16 over 20, that is a proper fraction. So I told you last time that you need to be careful in identifying the fraction. So if it's proper, you will just simply divide. Find a number that can possibly divide the numerator and the denominator. Okay, this one is also a proper. Okay, that's great. Now, how about the next example? Let's try to look at. Okay, what kind of fraction is this? Okay, that's great. This is an improper fraction. Improper, simply because the numerator is greater than the number below, which is 4. So 9 is greater than 4. So therefore, this is improper fraction. Now take note, when we simplify improper fractions, we need to change them into mixed number. This time, we will change it into mixed number. How? You will just simply divide 9, which is the numerator, divided by the denominator, which is 4. Okay, let's try to divide. 9 divided by 4, it will give us 2. That's correct. 2 times 4, it will give us 8. Then subtract, it will give us 9 minus 8. The answer is 1. The remainder here is 1. You need to be careful. So in changing the mix into mixed number, the quotient or the answer here will be the whole number. The remainder here will serve as the numerator and simply copy the denominator. So take note, the simplified form of 9 over 4 or 9/4 is 2 and 1/4. Okay? Okay, let's try another example. 12 over 8. So what kind of fraction is this? What is this? Very good. Improper. Why did we say? Okay, let me write first. Wow. Okay. Okay, improper. Why did we say that this fraction here is improper? Simply because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So therefore, we need to change this one into mixed number. And that would be 12 divided by 8. Very, very tiny numbers. Okay, 12 divided by 8, and that will give you 1. Okay, 1 times 8, that will give you 8. Then subtract 12 minus 8, that will give you 4. So now, again, the quotient or the answer here will be our whole number. Hindi whole number. Okay, the remainder here, 4, will be our numerator. And that's it. Now, you simply copy the denominator, which is 8. Is this final? Is this simplified? Try to check. I guess this is not yet final. Why? Try to check the proper fraction of the mixed number. This is not simplified. 4 over 8. So meaning to say, this proper fraction here can be simplified. Oh, there is a motor. Okay, 4 over 8. So we can still divide that by 2. And that will give us 4 divided by 2. That is 2. No, sorry. The number 2, yes, possible. And 4 also is possible. As I said a while ago, we need to use the greater number. So we will use 4 here, not 2, to make it shortcut. Okay? So this is 4. Okay? 4 divided by 4, it will give you 1. 8 divided by 4, it will give you 2. So therefore, the final answer, the whole number is 1. The proper fraction will be 1/2. So this is now the simplified form of 12 over 8 or 12/8. Okay, another example. Simplify 20 over 6. So again, this is improper. Again, it's improper because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So we need to divide. 20 divided by 6. Okay, that's good. 20 divided by 6, that will give us 3. 3 times 6, that will give us 18. Then subtract, the answer would be 2. 20 minus 18, that is 2, right? Okay, now the remainder here is 2. Okay, the quotient will be our whole number. The remainder will be our numerator. And simply copy the denominator, which is 6. Now try to scrutinize. Is our mixed number simplified? I guess it's not. Why? Because 2 over 6, or the proper fraction here, is not yet simplified. So we need to find a number that can possibly divide 2 and 6. Okay, what number is that? Correct. That is 2. Very good. Okay, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2, and that is 3. So therefore, our final answer would be 3, the whole number. And the proper fraction is 1/3. Okay, that's normal if you mispronounce the words. Okay, so 3 and 1/3. Okay, that's great. Now, let's have the last example. Second to the last, because I'm going to present another one. 32 divided by 7. 32 divided by 7. Change to mixed number because this is improper. Okay, 32 divided by 7. The answer is, what's the answer? 4. Okay, that's 4. 4 times 7, that is 28. Now, 32. Okay, when we were in grade 3, I think 32, 2 minus 8 cannot be. You will make it 12, borrow 10, and this 3 will become 2. Okay, 12 minus 8, that is 4. Yes, it's 4. 2 minus 2, 0. So therefore, the answer here, or the remainder here is 4. Okay, so therefore, let's have this one. So our whole number here, which is the quotient, that is 4. The remainder is 4. That will be the numerator. And simply copy the denominator, which is 7. Now, try to check. Is this final? Yes, it is final because 4 over 7 is simplified already. You cannot find any number aside from 1 that can possibly divide 4 and 7. So therefore, this is the final answer, or the simplified form of 32 over 7, or 32 sevenths. Now, what if another improper fraction is whenever the numerator and the denominator are equal? How to simplify them? Always remember, if the numerator and the denominator are equal, if you are going to divide 4 divided by 4, automatic, the answer will always be 1. Okay, that will be a whole number. You can have 10 over 10, an improper fraction. The answer is always 1. So again, whenever the numerator and the denominator are equal, and if you are going to divide them, the answer is always 1. Always remember that. Okay, so I guess I hope you learned something for tonight, for today, and I hope you keep on watching our videos for you to learn the concept and master the concept. So have a nice day, everyone, and God bless.